welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. What I want to do, throughout this week here on the channel, we've been talking coaching hirings, coaching interviews, free agent targets, talking about the Niners' own free agents, which players should stay, which players should go. I also want to continue to talk about the draft because we've been doing that over the last couple of weeks, and you've responded well to it because those videos have been doing well. So I want to do a Niners mock draft roundup and take a look at some prospects and players who San Francisco could take with the 11th overall pick, but also their second-round pick as well. If you want more Niners draft coverage, by the way, and you like what you see here on today's show or on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're really closing in on 155,000 subs, so lock us in and subscribe today. Our show made possible today thanks to our friends at Game Time, by the way, the best app in the ticketing marketplace. And look, I talk sports for a living. I love going to sporting events. It's so unique because a reason I fell in love with sports, when you go to a game, you don't know or care who's around you. Their race, creed, religion, sexual, political preferences. If your team scores a touchdown, you're dapping them up, you're giving them a hug, you're giving them a high five. The atmosphere is unbelievable. And you can also put together great memories with people who you really care about. It's part of the great reason why I love going to sporting events, and you do as well. So if you want to be a part of that movement, be a part of that vibe, download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. But also, I talk sports for a living, and sometimes I like to do things other than sports. I like to go to concerts. I like to go to comedy shows. I'll hit up a Blue Man Group show from time to time. I like the performing arts. All of those tickets available within the Game Time app as well. You want to go to a Golden State Warriors game? Check. You want to go to a San Jose Sharks game? You can do that. San Francisco Giants game coming up, a Niners game for next year. Game Time has it all. They have flash deals and zone deals. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And thanks to Game Time Picks, curation makes it easier to find the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed, so you get the best price point and the best vantage point, and you don't have to go through thousands and thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. First purchase only to get $20 off. All right, Niners mock draft time. And I want to do a roundup with some mock drafts that I saw that I found to be interesting. Dane Brugler is an NFL draft analyst for The Athletic. I think he's the best in the business. His scouting profiles that he puts together for what he calls the Beast, which is a guide with hundreds of prospects in the lead up to the draft, is so in-depth, so advanced, so nuanced, and so detail-oriented. And so when he comes out with mock drafts, I'm always interested in seeing what he has to say because he knows ball and he knows these prospects better than anybody out there. And in his mock draft, which was released on Wednesday, he had the Niners selecting Missouri offensive tackle Armand Membou with the 11th overall pick. And here's the scouting breakdown and the reasoning behind the selection. Based on the players expected to be available in this range, there is a decent chance the Niners use this pick to address the trenches, either on the offensive or defensive line. Membou is incredibly underrated, but he plays with exceptional control, athleticism, and finish. He would give San Francisco an ascending player with guard tackle versatility. In scouting Membou, 6'3", 314 pounds. He's not as tall as you might want an offensive tackle to be, but he does have long arms. And so if you want him to play tackle, I think he can. If you want him to play guard, he can do that as well. But as we know, the Niners need a tackle. But the Niners' thought process here could be, we'll play him at right guard. We'll move Dominic Pooney to left guard. We upgrade at left guard in doing that. We upgrade at right guard, kind of. You get better at center, and then maybe you run it back with Colton McKivitz, and then you improve at left guard, you improve at center, you draft him to play right guard. That could be a win, or he just replaces Colton McKivitz, whose final year of his contract is not guaranteed. So that's kind of the thought process there potentially. Membou, fluid athlete in space. He can really climb to that second level. Kyle Shanahan's going to ask his offensive lineman to do that quite frequently. He has good length and versatility. He's a good run blocker. Have to be able to run block in this system. He can struggle at times against speed rushers. He can get uprooted versus power. His arm length meets the offensive tackle standards, and the Niners like offensive linemen and offensive tackles with long arms. He has good hands and good feet, and he really has some speed off the ball. My issue with him, is he a guard or is he a tackle? The testing numbers could go a long way in determining that. I kind of want a player like Kelvin Banks out of Texas, who you know is going to be able to play offensive tackle, and he's not a tweener. And we know, I've been saying this too, the Niners need to address the offensive line this season. I'm done with watching bad offensive line play. I'm tired of seeing offensive linemen get pushed into Brock Purdy's lap. In 2024, they couldn't run block, they couldn't pass block. You have to make that more of a point of emphasis. I think about the teams that are still alive in the NFL playoffs, in particular in the NFC. Philadelphia Eagles, best offensive line in football. Detroit Lions, second best offensive line in football. Kansas City Chiefs, they've invested into the offensive line. Baltimore Ravens, they have. Bills, they have. Commanders, better along the offensive line. There's a theme for the teams that are still alive. Good offensive line play. As for Dane Brugler's second-round pick, this is a player who I do like, and my guy Larry Krueger, host of the Krug Show, I go on his show and his YouTube channel every single Friday. He has a scouting background when he was scouting in professional football. He really likes Walter Nolen, the Ole Miss defensive tackle. He is 6'3", 305 pounds, a Texas A&M transfer. In the pre-draft process at the Combine, he could run a sub-5 in the 40-yard dash at 305 pounds. Freaky fast. Overall Pro Football Focus grade this year of 88.3. He had 6 sacks and 23 hurries according to PFF. Really explosive first step, allowing him to win his matchups against slower plotting interior offensive linemen, and then he can make plays and cause havoc in the backfield. He has good bend for a defensive tackle, changes direction really fast, quick diagnosing skills, especially on some screens. The weakness to him, sometimes he can rely on his power moves too much, and sometimes power moves don't work for young players at the NFL level. And then in ESPN's mock draft, they have the Niners going with Texas A&M defensive lineman Shemar Stewart in the first round with pick number 11. He is a very gifted player along the defensive line. And here's what ESPN had to say on Shemar Stewart to San Francisco. The 49ers have to replenish their defensive line, which has been the driving force for much of their success during the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era. Stewart is a toolsy defensive lineman who is likely to see his stock skyrocket at pre-draft events because of his athletic skills and him being 6'6", 290 pounds. He has been more potential than production to date, as he's never had more than 1.5 sacks in a season, but Stewart's 2.42 second average time to first pressure is the best among all defensive linemen in the FBS, which shows that he just needs to learn how to finish his pressures with sacks. I will say this. I don't really love taking chances on athletes this early in the first round just based on their potential. I kind of want to bring in a player who you know is going to be able to impact games, and their production at the college level backs that up. The Niners have missed on way too many first-round picks under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. They can't afford to miss on another one. And what's the point in taking a project player when you need that player to perform for you in 2025? So Walter Nolen, I like it. I'd probably go Kelvin Banks, Texas offensive tackle, instead of Membou, and I wouldn't go Shemar Stewart, but we're early in this process. A lot going to change until April's NFL draft, and we're going to continue to cover it all things Niners right here on the show.